Alright, welcome to the part 74. So, let's start with the life in the 50 stations. We just did this in class today. We were looking for the papers, but some papers weren't there and I couldn't find them. So, let's just try out the baby boom. So, the baby boom refers to the increased birth rate between 1946 to 1964. The Great Depression and WW2 disrupted many American plans for marriage and starting a family. After a Great Depression and World War II came to an end, those plans become a reality once again. Again, scan the QR code to watch a video about the History Channel about the baby boom. Record your facts on your station's packet. Second, the healthier station. The healthier nation. In the 1950s, new vaccines were created to combat some of the scariest diseases of all the time. During the 1950s, vaccines were created for smallpox, diphtheria, or tetanus, or pertussis. Again, scan the QR code. Native Americans' realization and termination. Many groups felt the strain of the growth during the prosperous times of the 1950s. Women and African Americans continued to struggle finding jobs and getting the right things they felt they deserved. Another group was also facing difficulty during this time. Native Americans, beginning in 1945, the U.S. Bureau of the Indian Affairs began two programs called Termination and Realization to try to assimilate the integrate Native Americans families. They were relocated. They were relocated various cities near their original tribal lands with the promise of a better way in life that they had on their native tribal reservations. Excerpt from House Concurrent Resolution 108. It is a policy of the Congress, as rapidly as possible, to make the Indians within the territorial limits of the United States subject to the same laws and entitled the same privileges and responsibilities as are applicable to other citizens of the United States, to end their status as ward of the United States, and to grant them all rights and prerogatives pertaining to American citizenship. 4. Interstate highways. Use your reading and graph below the answers for your questions in the package sheet. Taking from your discovery book. An American driving culture had been growing since the introduction of the automobile near the end of the 1990s or the 90s or the 19s. A private automobile meet freedom. People went for Sunday drives and pleasure rides out in the countryside. They showed off for their cars at the car shows. Still, getting around the country by car was not easy. Planning for a nationwide system of highways began in 1916, but state and federal conflicts over funding control made the progress slow. U.S. Route 30. The first coast-to-coast highway was completed in 1945, but it was not a federal project. Each segment of the highway was a separate state project, with the federal government sharing half the cost. Road conditions were often poor, and there was a little coordination among the states. Numerous legislators, as well as interest groups, had been pushing for years for a national system of sturdy, high-speed roads to support commerce. President Eisenhower took special interest in bringing the system about. Congress passed the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, which is often referred to as the Interstate Highways Act. This law authorized and funded the federal interstate highway system. Supporters of the law hoped the new highways would improve the trade between state and provide with a way for the military to move supplies quickly around the country. The law planned for a 41,000-mile system for high-speed restricted access roads and is authorized $25 million a year from 1957, 1959, or 1969 to be paid for the federal gasoline tax. The federal government would pay 90% of the construction costs, with states paying the remaining 10%. In the 1990, The system was renamed in honor of Eisenhower. Transportation trend 1948 to 60, which has like a 1,600,000, which can be over a year, can be over 1930 or 60, can be about trucks or tractor drivers, railroad brakeman and switchman. Sources: U.S. Census Bureau Historical Statistics of the United States to 1970, Series D. 5. Suburbs. Use your reading on a table below to answer the questions in your packet sheet. Taking for your discovery book. The extensive highway systems in around cities dramatically decreased travel times for commuters. This enabled commuters to live even farther from downtown than before. Many people became interested in the living in suburbs, areas outside in central cities. Communities began spreading out along highways, a condition called suburban sprawl. The highways made it easy to travel to nearby towns for shopping, the wholesale trade, business meetings, and leisure trips. Urban conditions are also encourage people to move out of the cities, grow up in the suburbs, or residential areas on the outskirts of an urban area. Enabled families with good incomes to move into neighborhoods with larger yards, better schools, or lower crime rates as the upper income bracket moved out of the cities. The proportion of urban dwellers in poverty and expand, further concentrating problems of crime and poverty in central cities, because African Americans were discouraged and largely prevented from buying homes in the suburbs, and because of this disproportionately high percentage of African American families were poor. Many U.S. cities became increasingly African American, but the migration of wealthier white residents to the suburbs and increasing concentration of African Americans in the cities become known as the White Flight. Unit 2, Vocab List. Unit 2, Reconstruction. Reconstruction. Black Codes. 13th Amendment. 14th Amendment. 15th Amendment. 10% Plan. Wade Davis Bill. Military Reconstruction Act. Freeman's Bureau. Dred Scott v. Sanford. Ku Klux Klan. Civil Rights Act of 1866. Sharecropping. Copy of the observe, predict, connect, and question. Observe. What do you see in your picture? Record 3 things that you see in the space below. What do you predict? What do you predict that happened before the picture was taken? After the picture was taken, record your thoughts in the corresponding boxes below. Be sure to have 3+ predictions per box. Before and after. Connect. How can you connect what you already know? 9/11/01 to your picture. Record 3 connections in your space below. Questions. After spending some time with your picture, what questions do you have about it? Record 3 questions that you have in space below. Or if you don't have questions, then you don't have to do this assignment. But it is required for me only. Interstellar Alliance Declaration of Principles. Okay, so Interstellar Alliance Declaration of Principles. The universe speaks in many languages, but only one voice. The language is not English or Spanish or Arabic or French or Chinese. It speaks in English. It speaks in language of hope. It speaks in the language of trust. It speaks in the language of strength, in the language of compassion. It is a language of the heart and a language of the soul. But always it is the same voice. It is the voice of ancestors speaking for us, and the voice of our inheritors waiting to be born. It is the small, still voice that says we are the one. No matter the blood, no matter the skin, no matter the world, no matter the star, we are one. No matter the pain, no matter the darkness, no matter the loss, no matter the fear, we are the one. Here gathered together in common cause, we agree to recognize the singular truth and the singular rule that we must be kind to one another. Because each voice enriches us and it ennobles us, and each voice, while lost, diminishes us. We are the voice of the universe, the soul of creation, the fire that will light the way to a better future. We are one. Adapted for Babylon 5 in Season 5 and Episode 3. Questions followed by actions. What does this piece make you think? What does this piece make you feel? What parts of the piece do you think that reflect on the three respectfuls of North? Explain. What are at least three concepts for a poem that we can apply to this class? How can we apply it to these concepts in class? Create examples. How do children learn? Directions. Make a copy of my Google Doc to fill in your own answers. Consider the following types of development and then complete the following activities: physical development, intellectual development, social emotional development. Part 1. Give me a one or two sentences description of what you already know or about or think you know about each type of development when thinking about child development. There's no need to Google answers or consult the book. I want to know what you know: physical, intellectual, and social emotional. Part 2. Pick one of the four areas to create a poster, tab down to a new page on your own, copy this of Google Doc, or use a Google Doc to make it look like a poster, or find a piece of paper or printed paper and create by hand and attach the image of your finished product. That goes into more detail on that area of development. Your poster should include the area of development that is a title somehow displayed big so I know exactly what you are telling me about. At least one picture. Yes, you will have to draw it if you choose to make it by hand. It doesn't have to be perfect, like this is in our class. A process of how a child typically develops in that area of development. At least three milestones that a child will research in area of development and at the age it is expected to be occurring. Parenting and relationships. Questions. Me and Scott did this. What does one sided mean in parenting? Usually takes on the role of parenting on their own. What can parents do for themselves to help them balance their lives when kids are young? Create a schedule to help with child needs. In what ways will people have to change when they become adults? List 2. 1. They have to have the growth mindset. 2. Start working on financial needs. Do children strain at the weak relationship? Why or why not? Sometimes because they usually have the weak common days of the way it turns automatically. Do children strength a wrong, really a wrong thing or something? Sometimes children doesn't know what things are wrong or right. Do children strength a strong relationship? Why or why not? Yes, because it can encourage parents and children to grow a strong bond. Overall, what is the biggest way of children to affect relationships in your opinion? A child can make a relationship really anything because the parent will give up anything to their child's needs. What is an example of a question that a couple could ask to begin looking at their relationship? They can ask it how they see themselves in their relationship in their future. How might a couple's relationships with others affect the children? It can reflect in a positive and negative way by actions of relationship. What are the three advantages to children's relationships with others? Strong bond, guidance for a life future, a way to grow. Why is it important for children to be able to relate with others? Showing a good sense of responsibility by using manners and being talkative. Overall, what is the biggest way relationships affect children in your opinion? Showing the participant of how you respect your elders and young human beings. They have many rights for their guidance. Always respect people. Always respect. Respect. We need that word all the time. Adoption at agency assignment. Background. Your work for an adoption at agency. Your agency will have 25 infants to place in adopted families this year. About 1,000 families will apply to adopt these infants, so only a few will actually get to adopt. You and your cow workers will be interviewing all 1,000 families and deciding which families to approve, which are the best for babies who those feature you hold in your hands. Only families and you and your cow workers that will approve will be listed for their parents to choose from. Task. As a group by yourself, brainstorm the qualifications that you think you should be required for adopted families. You will need a name for adoption agency, a motto for agency, a symbol for the agency, 15 characteristic jobs that you think these families should have. Examples: house, money, or respect. 10 things that would make a family an automatic no examples. A drug addiction or abusive history. A description of the approval process for an adult to become an adopted parent for your agency. Include in your submission definitions for the following terms: illegal market adoption, adoption agency, independent adoption, or closed adoption, or open adoption. What do you think you should be? I prefer myself to be an open adoption. I don't mind adopting children, but like sometimes babies are really hard to take care of. I don't like taking care of babies very much. Not that person. Okay, Bryce, I didn't I read your page already? Discovery 1.6, pages 5 through 7. Unit 2, Reconstruction. The impact of the war notes. Directions 1. Go to Discovery, click on the Identifying as American, use pages 5 through 7 to complete the guided notes. Turn into the It's Learning assignment when you are finished. Entry page 5. What did the government officials for South to push before the Civil War? What did the South push to preserve? Highlight yes or no during and after the Civil War. Federal government began to play a greater role in individual lives of American citizens. Yes or no? How did the Civil War increase the federal government? 4 ways. True or false? Highlight your answer. The Civil War caused the federal government to expand because it needed to pay everyone involved because of the Civil War. Nationalism, page 5. What is nationalism? Use your own words. Who did citizens for different states join under the stave of a union to end slavery? Post-war economies, page 6. What kind of economy did the South have before the Civil War? Two things. Why was inflation a problem in the South after the Civil War? What did the Union destroy in the South during the Civil War that hurt their economy? Why did North not have to rebuild as much as after the Civil War? A social shift. After the Civil War, what two of these things increased in the North? How did most Southerners feel about Northerners after the Civil War? What did Southerners blame Northerners for? What types of changes did formerly enslaved persons have to adjust to? Copy of the Fat Boy Chronicles, Day 3. This was from Health Education. Okay, so I was in Mr. Freegood's class. Goal. Students will analyze how mental health can be affected by nutrition, mental attitude, families, and peers. Okay. Agenda. It's Learning Fat Boy Chronicles, questions day 2 and 3. What did you learn? What did you learn? Video and chat. This can be explained by right there. Or let me know if you got it. I'm gonna try to make more videos today. If I can't, let me know. I might back up for March 29th to 31st. Hopefully I can get back to it. The copy of a choices day lesson plan. Final exam. Goal. Students will analyze what they still want to learn in health class and pick a topic to explore their body systems. Human sexuality and development for finally relationships. Units 6 and 7 and 8. And create one-page Google Doc for each share with Mr. Freegood. Include what you want to learn for the information and answer that question. Body system links. Body system videos. Human sexuality and development. Relationships. Check for understanding, write on a whiteboard the most important thing you'll learn today. Yeah, in health class it was pretty relaxing and chilling. I had Mr. Freegood. What do you guys have for health back in the day? Mr. Freegood was okay. Pretty dang good. Copy of a chapter 10 test. Um, Goal. Students will take their knowledge of alcohol abuse. Bellinger. Students may use a study sheet on a test. Study for the test to get out your study sheet while the teacher takes attendance. Chapter 10 tests on learning students who take modified tests should already know who they are. If you finish early, challenge growth. See second page. Go to the links and read about drugs. Resource for you. Read chapter 11, pages 317 to 343. Okay, I don't know how long I'm recording for, but I may have to do like 5 pages or something. Types of family. Okay, so directions. Pick one of the 8 family types and do a first page using family type. Then fill in a blank second page with other 7 you do not choose. Nuclear families, single parent families, extended families, step families, and blended families. Families with adopted children, foster families, families with guardians, families with grandparents as the head of household. Types of families, in definition, draw or insert a picture depicting this type of family. Who is a famous person, a family, or a TV show character that experienced this type of family? Please explain to me who they are and how this type of family has influenced them. What would you say to this type of family is common? Why or why not? Are there any known outcomes associated with this type of family? Type of family, description of it in your own words. Who do you know from a family like this? I was having trouble with that too. In that assignment too. I didn't even know I was doing child development. I thought I was not going to pass. Definitely. I don't even know why I'm that class, honestly. I do like taking care of children, but I'm not even ready for a class yet, honestly. I was thinking, what am I doing here? I was like, hell nah. This ain't what I want to do here. Daily Journal, August 14th to 17th. Day 14 to 17. How was the coronavirus pandemic that affected your life? Please remember that there are no wrong answers. We are completing our journal activities. I am simply trying to get to know you better and understand how you operate in the world around you. Okay, this was pretty short. I'll take that as a yes. This is from Miss Sharman's class that I used to be in. Could have stayed in Miss Sharman. I love Miss Sharman. I could have stayed in her class, but not Mr. Burns. I could have stayed where I was, and nothing would happen. But instead, I really thought Mr. Burns was cool enough. Like, basically. Here are the ESS videos, if you want to click on it. Oh, let's sign in. I'm not doing that crap right now. I'm doing a video right here. I don't mind reading a long page, but I'm just making sure that I don't want to do it too much. The Bing Bang and Nebular Hypothesis Notes. The Bing Bang and Nebular Hypothesis. The formation of our planet began 13.7 billion years ago with a cataclysmic explosion that created blank. Blank particles formed. As the debris cooled, blank began to form. Clouds of hydrogen and helium blank into stars. As the gases had contracted, blank occurred. Radiant blank was released heat, light, cosmic rays. Blank events produced all the elements or elements heavier than iron and spilled into space. Nebular hypothesis. 4.6 billion years ago, the solar system that formed was for solar blank. As the solar nebula contracted, most of the matter collected in the center of it create a hot blank. The rest remained and became a flattened blank within a spinning disk. Coalesced, coalesced into clumps that collided and stuck together to become asteroid-sized objects called blank. The composition of planetesimal is determined largely by its blank from a hot blank. Near Earth's orbit blank and blank substances condensed. Repeated blank and blank grew into 8 protoplanets. Temperature is our planet to increase due to a hypocity or high velocity impact or interplanetary blank, the decay of blank elements. Earth became hot enough that the iron and nickel began to blank. Melting produced liquid blobs of heavy metal that blank under their own weight. This produced Earth's blank, iron-rich blank. This early period of heating has also resulted in a blank ocean. Within a magma ocean, buoyant masses of molten rock rose towards the surface, cooled, and produced a thin, primitive blank. During this time, the layers of it formed as the Earth blank. Elements were separated based on blank. The lightest materials escape from a primitive atmosphere, and eventually the oceans included water vapor and carbon dioxide. Okay, I'll do like three more videos or three more assignments if I have time. I'm gonna do the whole ESS on part 80s or something. Joestar adoption. Yeah, I can't spell my no. This was made by August 31st. Yeah, my name was spelled wrong. Quinn Tin. Tin, but it's Quinten, not Quintin. There's no Tin, there's no Tin, there's Ten. There's Sky and there's Jasmine. Creating opportune features, qualities, able to accept and express emotions, able to communicate the best level, able to recognize about the course, being able to know what to use for sessions, able to make and maintain commitments, being useful of what you do, able to know what you need to complete, able to pass something that is a progress, being able to keep track where you're at, being able to be kind and imagine what you like, a sense of humor, risk takers, and make sure you're not to forget the importance of work. Play fair, making sure you have the ability to pay more attention to what you think. Automatic family, drug addiction, abusive tendencies, alcohol abuse, lack of support, self issues, social anxiety, lack of parental knowledge, lack of initial support, mindset of leaving, loss of hope. If you guys have any questions about all the other assignments, let me know in the comments down below. Alright, see you guys soon.